in Wells Fargo Arena.
And are you looking for a sports show with whatever this is?
And today we are counting down Justin Bieber's top 10 girlfriends. That's right.
Make sure to check out Andy and Hunter every Thursday on Prep Sports Plus, breaking down all the high school sports from across the Southeast Iowa region, talking about all your favorite schools such as Washington, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, Pekin, and so much more. Make sure to check out Prep Sports Plus every Thursday at noon on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page. Summer is here, and Fairway's got you covered all baseball and softball season long. With a large variety and low prices, Fairway is the easy home run choice for all your grocery needs. Make Fairway your home field advantage.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
Back here in Washington, we are still tied. Heading into the bottom of the fifth, 1-1 between Ottumwa and Washington. It's been Colby Griner dialed in, 10 strikeouts so far for the Demons, and Thompson in the circle for Ottumwa's done a decent enough job matching her. Has 4 strikeouts herself, but has kept retiring these normally hot Washington bats. Has the top of the order to face here.
She's got 8 outs in a row, but this is the top of the order that gave her trouble at the beginning of the game. Leighton Salazar has yet to get out. She's got the double and the walk. And then the Griners, always dangerous. She's gotten both of them out, both at bats this game, but this is where Washington can take control of this game right here. Just got to get a runner on and move her around and eventually get her to cross home safely.
And you can see as well, I think, some of the respect being shown to Leighton Salazar. I feel like her at-bats, all those pitches have been to the outside zone. Thompson not wanting to risk a pitch inside, knowing what Salazar can do. And again, not necessarily a power hitter for Washington, but someone who can get the ball into play. Certainly did that to lead the game off with that double, and looked like the bats would get hot early, but Thompson doing a good job getting control. But that one chopped back into left field, and as if on cue, a single for Leighton Salazar. Gets on base to start the bottom of the fifth for Washington. Can that fire the rest of the bats up for the Demons?
Yeah, and a loud single, too. That's definitely going to get the dugout going. They're excited about that. Nice line drive through the hole between third and shortstop. And, if she hits that 5 feet to the left, 5 feet to the right, that could get past the left fielder and end up being 2 or even 3. Salazar's got a lot of speed out there.
Ella Griner shows bunt. That one took a deflection off of her. Unfortunate that time. Would have probably been a decent bunt attempt for Ella Griner. Would have at least advanced the runner. She'll have to dig in again.
And that's one of my favorite parts about softball is the willingness to play that small ball game. It's so much more interesting than a team that swings away and tries to hit it out every at bat, because there's a lot of flyouts in that and a lot of strikeouts. This way, it's a lot more.
Runner goes and throw not in time, so a strike taken for Ella Griner, but Salazar makes a nice break on it and able to advance to second. 2 strikes to Ella Griner. It's grounded out and flew out in her 2 at-bats, but a runner in scoring position for the Demons.
Yeah, there's a lot more strategy is what I was saying with the small ball game. Right there, you get the runner on the second already, and you still haven't had a bunt laid down.
That one slapped towards second and gets through, and Salazar will come home to score, and Washington does break the deadlock here in the bottom of the fifth, going up 2-1. You mentioned a loud single. That felt like another one. Just crept past Garrison at second, who dove for it. Has made a couple of good plays today. Couldn't quite reach that one. And Griner singles. Brings up Colby Griner.
Great piece of work out there at the plate by Griner. You don't need to do too much. You just need to find a hole, especially with Salazar able to get to second base on the stolen base. It just provided so much opportunity for the Demons to get her across the score, and they don't even have to take an out to do it. They get a good base hit right up the pipe.
And that Thompson out streak ended with Salazar at 8. Like Joel mentioned at the top of the bottom of the fifth here, as contact getting through, and all of a sudden the Washington Bats starting to come alive. Top of the order doing its job. Another single. Colby Griner gets on base for the first time today.
Well, as soon as the out streak ends, here's a hit streak for the Demons. 3 in a row, 3 base hits, the last 2 looking almost exactly the same. Leighton Salazar went to left field, and then the other 2 just dribblers right up the middle, right where nobody is. Sometimes those are the best hits. You don't have to hit it as hard as you can. You just have to put it where no one is at.
Lily Magdefrau, another 8th grader on this Washington roster, is in to run for Colby Griner on first. Olivia Anderson stepping up to the plate. Still no outs in this bottom of the 5th inning. Chance for Washington to really break the game open here.
And it's a very small team. As Coach Overman says, 13 strong. And it provides a lot of opportunities for these 8th graders who, on a bigger team, at a bigger school, say these 8th graders were at Ottumwa, and maybe they don't get a break into varsity this year. Maybe they have to wait another extra year. So they get a lot more looks before they're even freshmen. It's going to pay dividends down the line, especially once they hit their junior and senior year and they have all these at-bats under their belt and stuff they can work on.
That one chopped foul down the third baseline for Anderson. Ottumwa, 18 players on its roster, actually 4 more than it had last year. So it was a little closer to that 13 for Washington, but you're right, a 5A program, this Ottumwa team. We're under 500. It broke a streak of being above 500 for several years. They're trying to get back on track, but it's Washington trying to get a grip on this game. The 1-1 pitch is inside, and a nice pitch there for Thompson. Just trying to dial it back. Has had a decent outing so far. This would be some jam to get out of if she can get away with giving up just the 1 run. Anderson trying to make that not the case. Has 1 RBI today. The 1-2. She hits that one straight up in the air. It's rolling foul, and it'll stay in play. Caught that time by Caldwell. So 1 away.
This is where you see the composure of your pitcher. You know, you allow a couple runners on. You allow a run to come across, no outs. And she's facing the cleanup batter of the Demons. Things could easily fall apart for her in the circle, but no, she's going to get her to pop out to first base, and now she's got 1 out under her belt, and she can focus in, get that confidence back, and get back to dealing like she was.
Ella Salazar back up her 3rd at-bat of the game. Walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd. And the righty do something with 2 runners on and 1 out for Washington. Up 2-1. Here's the 0-1. That one lifted toward left, and over for it, making the catch is Pauls, and there is 2 away.
Good communication out there between Pauls and her shortstop, Thompson. You know, that could easily be trouble if they're not talking. They could either run into each other or both back off, and the ball finds the grass. It's a good job knowing who gets the call. It's the outfield gets the call. Shortstop, they get the call in the infield. So, you know, it can be a little difficult when the shortstop's going out to the outfield, and they're used to being the one who makes the decision on whose ball it is.
Well, a good response as well, I feel like, after, you had a couple of those grounders just roll through the infield and make it into the grass out there, and that's allowed these runners to take their bases. Is Ottumwa having a little mound meeting here?
Yeah, and that's kind of Thompson's cup of tea out there in the circle. Is she's not going to strike out everyone she faces. She's got 4 in today, pretty solid, but that's not her type of pitching. She likes to force the weak contact, and unfortunately, when you're a weak contact pitcher, sometimes you have the games where they just keep finding holes to keep going where no one's at, and it sucks when you're in the circle because it's those ground balls. They're nothing much. I mean, if they hit them to a player, that's a routine play, but for the Demons, they've been able to find those gaps and get those runs that come across, and that's why they have a 2-1 lead.
Cut it back up. Showed bunt on the first pitch. Pulled back for a ball. Does the same for ball number 2. Swung on and missed that time for the first strike of the at-bat for Hallie. Cut it back.
Nice high strike. The high cheddar. Hard to lay off.
Yeah, both pitchers can go to that rise ball that lifts up the zone. Hard to hit. Cut it back. Chops that one back for a foul. Cut it back and singled 3 times coming into this game. That was tied for the most on the team with Olivia Anderson. So her bat was a bit hot coming into this doubleheader. Can it be this time? The 2-2 with 2 outs. Swung on and missed, and a big strike 3 for Thompson, but it is Washington picking up a run and taking a 2-1 lead. Into the 6th inning we go here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
Here at the Morning Breath, we start every morning with style and grace.
Give me a
Engaging you with thoughtful and critically thinking topics to start your day,
Did you know that Pop-Tarts are like horrible for you?
while always maintaining a professional and family-friendly environment.
John, you're no longer a virgin.
Oh, and all the other stuff.
Flowers.
Yes.
Straight up out of the we talk on all over the
Out of There's another word for that, Peter. What do we call that? Cold.
It is cold. It's going to get
Weekdays at 7:15, only on the Southeast Iowa Video Network Facebook and YouTube page.
At Washington Lumber and Home Center, our extensive knowledge, great pricing, and a long list of local installation experts, you are guaranteed to get the service you deserve with the quality you should expect. Washington Lumber and Home Center, your local place for great results.
Welcome back to Washington Softball Stadium, where the Demons added a second run in the bottom of the 5th and now have a 2-1 advantage over Ottumwa. Jack Knowlton, Joe Keller joining you for the first of 2 between these two teams. We'll come back for a doubleheader once this one is in the books. Colby Griner still dealing in the circle. 10 strikeouts for her. She's having a really good outing, getting the start.
See if we can get some more Ks. I mean, that's how she's gotten the majority of her outs. 10 strikeouts. You know, out of the 15 outs she's gotten so far. You know what that is? 66.6 repeating percentage clip. Some quick math.
Some quick
for you.
maths there from our math whiz and color analyst Joel this evening. Well done. Griner dealing here to Hunter Caldwell, who got a double off of her in the 2nd, flew out in the 3rd. Is down 1-2 in the count. I pitch inside.
Didn't miss by too much. That was right there.
Painted the zone, indeed, and just a bit outside of it there for ball number 2. The 2-2. Swung on and missed, and there is another strikeout for Griner. Starting things out well here in the bottom of the 6th.
Just a real nice rise ball there from Griner. I mean, it's been working on every facet of the game. I mean, she's been really, really good. Her breaking balls have been phenomenal. Her fastballs just as good. I mean, she's got these Ottumwa batters having a lot of trouble. It's really impressive too, because you know, this is a team that yesterday was really feeling themselves at the plate. You know, like you said, had the big day against East, and today they're just struggling to get contact with the ball.
Both teams came in playing really good offense as that one's hit into right. And it'll drop for a single for Lexi Ferguson.
You know, the smart play out there in right field for Messer is throwing it into the cutoff. For a moment there, it looked like she might have had a chance. If she got up and rocketed the ball over the first, she might have had the chance to throw her out. But then again, that does put the danger of throwing it past her. It's a tough throw to make.
One attempt down, a tough play, and not in time. So a bunt for a single there by Cammie Poles. And 2 on now for Ottumwa, trying to match Washington once again. We have a 2-0 lead, and up comes Brianna Griffiths, who drove in that first run of the game for Ottumwa. Has an RBI single and a walk here today. So has gotten the better of an otherwise excellent Griner here in this game. Showing bunt again. Pulls it back. The pitch in there for strike number 1.
Allowing a bunt single, it's a tough one to eat in the circle. You think of a bunt as an automatic out typically, but now you got 2 runners on and only 1 out. You just got to focus in on this batter.
Griffiths, foul tip and strike number 2 quickly in this at-bat. Griffiths, we mentioned before, used more as a base runner last year. So big role for her and a big moment here at the plate. The 0-2 is inside for ball number 1. I mentioned that base running. If she does get on base, of course, can be dangerous. We saw a bunt for a single just 1 batter ago. Griffiths showing, but that one in there for an off-speed strike 3 and a big strikeout there for Griner.
That's 11 strikeouts now, and 5 of which has been looking. 6 actually, apologies. 6 strikeouts looking. That's just so impressive, and it just shows you how much control she has over the batter out there on the mound or in the circle. She's done a great job keeping them on their toes, and actually not on their toes, but on the back of their heels. They're just sitting back waiting for it right now, and the Bulldogs they've been really guessing a lot at the plate.
So Sophia Mendables in pinch hitting here for Avery Frank. She's a junior, but in her first year, the program was not a part of the Bulldogs team last year. With 2 outs, trying to step up big. But reaches at that first pitch. Seen some nice off-speed stuff there from Griner to deal those inside. And like you said, keep the batters on their heels. The 0-1 is in there for a ball. Another pitch inside for strike number 2. Another big opportunity for Griner to try and get out of this inning unscathed.
She's been dominant at the top of the zone. I would not be surprised if she just goes right back up there. She's got a lot of swing and misses there.
The 1-2 in there and paints the outside of the zone for strike 3. And Griner does get out of the inning for Washington to take a 2-1 lead to the bottom of the 6th. We go on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
My name is Levi Lyle. I have lived in Kielder my entire life, but I've been an organic farmer for about a decade. Truly, the reason to do business locally is because of the joy and fulfillment that comes in relationships. Coming to Professional Proteins is an opportunity to work with good people.
At Wolf Floral, you'll find everything you need to spruce up your summer. Located on the southeast corner of the Washington Square, we've got you covered from small gift items to the finest floral arrangements around. Wolf Floral, unique by choice, not by chance.
Check out Community Profiles every Thursday, where our host, Greta Clemens, talks with people from around Washington about their stories and highlighting upcoming events. Make sure to tune in to Community Profiles every Thursday at 10 on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
At Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction, we provide everything from design to complete installation of your kitchen cabinets. For small town service with competitive prices, Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction are here for you.
Back here in Washington, where it is still a 2-1 lead. And, well, when Washington took the lead in the bottom of the first, the visiting Ottumwa Bulldogs were able to respond in the top of the second and tied at 1-1. When Washington scored in the bottom of the fifth, it was not the same story. As we take a look back in the broadcast setup here, Jack Knowlton, Joel Keller on the call here, and Washington trying to hold on to a 2-1 advantage in the first of 2 games in this doubleheader against Ottumwa. And really nice inning again from the pitcher, Colby Griner. Excuse me, Joel. Is having an excellent game. 13 strikeouts for her.
Yeah, and her dad's actually sitting up here in the press box as well, and Son us, they changed up their pitching coach in the offseason, and she's really just developed all these different pitches. Her drop curve, her drop ball, her rise ball, and her fastball is all starting to click. And when she can mix it like that, she can keep those batters on their heels, and they don't really know what's coming, and that's what we've seen with the Bulldogs today. I mean, they've been guessing a lot. They've swung and missed a lot, but she's also been able to get them to strike out looking 6 times now out of her 13 strikeouts.
Addie Thompson still in the circle for the Bulldogs. Both pitchers potentially going the whole way here, as Ottumwa will have 3 outs to try and tie this before we'll go to the second of the doubleheader. Up now is Natalie Hartman, the third baseman, is down 1-2 early. Hartman, just a freshman. Grounded out twice so far. Flew out and struck out. And strikes out again there, so nice start to the bottom of the 6th for Thompson.
Yep, that's what Thompson needs to do. No more runs is her goal. I mean, obviously, but she doesn't want to allow any base runners too, because if one runner gets on, then we get back to the top of the order, and it's Leighton Salazar sitting out there right now. She's in the hole now with 1 away, and she's had quite the day so far. 2 hits and a walk, and if the Demons can get a runner on, I mean, we've seen it already. She's done a good job moving them over and just getting on base, and she's got the speed threat as well. Had the stolen base in the 5th inning that set up for the RBI single, which put the Demons on top.
Kayla Gertis, the designated player, she is grounded out twice. Count at 1-1 with 1 out. Washington lost a couple of seniors from last year, but returned a lot of the talent from a really good season. They were ranked 10th in the preseason poll in the Class 3A rankings. They're number 11 on Bounds rankings right now. This is a team with a lot of expectations, trying to build on that record. We've talked about Salazar, but there's others obviously a part of this roster that's trying to do something special here in the Southeast Conference. Of course, preparing for conference play early in the season as Gertis hits a 2-2 count.
That's what happens when you return all of your pitchers from last season. You know, you got a strong pitching staff. You lose a couple of bats, but a lot of your key ones still out there looking nice and putting up some good stats to start off the season.
Gertis swings and misses that time, so that'll bring up Reagan Miller with 2 outs. Singled back in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. First pitch in there for a strike, and got to give credit to Thompson as well. She has done what you talked about, not giving up, well, even any hits, and just not trying to make the hole any deeper for Ottumwa to try and climb out of with their final 3 outs of the game. As the 0-1 comes for Miller, in there for strike 2.
Now, this inning has been a lot of her best pitching that we've seen all game. She's saving it for the end. It might be the final inning if Washington is able to hold on in the top of the 7th. But Thompson has really looked good here in the 6th.
And a 1-2-3 inning for Addie Thompson. To the 7th we go, 3 outs away. Washington are from a first win in this doubleheader. Ottumwa trying to tie things up. We go to the bottom of the 7th here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
There are places where all roads lead to families providing for their loved ones and their community. That's where you'll find us. Generation after generation. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Your adventure starts here. Capper Auto Group Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram will get you ready in style. Meet with our friendly and experienced team to find a vehicle that gets you on the road, and rely on our service shop to keep you there. Capper Auto Group. See yourself the Capper experience.
Welcome to the 7th inning at Washington Softball Field. The Demons up 2-1, trying to escape with a win in the first of 2 games against the Ottumwa Bulldogs, and certainly avoid extra innings, which would be, I'm sure, strenuous on both teams, given we have a doubleheader and another game on a quick turnaround. Washington 3 outs away. It has been an excellent outing for Colby Griner, who is still in the circle and dealing, facing Lily Garrison, end of the order, up to start the 7th for the Bulldogs. And the 1-1 pitch is in there for strike 2. Garrison struck out in the 2nd, was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Joel gave her some credit, wore it really well, and it's still out there swinging, but facing a 1-2 count. Swung on and missed, and Griner keeping things going. Another strikeout for her, and it's just been an excellent outing, like I mentioned, for the sophomore, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, she's did a really good job there, too. I mean, that's a 9-hole hitter. You got the top of the order due up and the top of the 7th, guarding a 1-run lead. Very easily you could overlook that 9-hole hitter. But if you walk her, that just sets the Ottumwa up so well. But no, she goes in there and she delivers strikes. She focuses in on the batter. And that's one of the things that's really impressed me is she's put herself into some trouble a couple of times, walking some batters, and especially last inning, allowing back-to-back base hits. But she's done a really nice job focusing in and getting the outs when those runners are aboard. I mean, she had the 2 runners last inning, back-to-back strikeouts looking. I mean, it's been impressive.
Jordy Miller, top of the order, back up for Ottumwa. She saws that one left. And once again, we've kept harping on it as a theme. You see Natalie Hartman, the third baseman for Washington, wearing that number 7 shirt, creeped up there toward third. That one's rolled toward short and unable to be scooped up that time by Logan Salazar. So the tying run aboard for the Bulldogs.
And that was great effort out there by Salazar. It's a tough hit. I mean, this softball field, you got all grass or all sand, unlike baseball where you get the grass to slow it down. But not only are you closer than in baseball, the sand really doesn't take too much off the ball, so it's coming in hot. And she does a good job just keeping it in front of her, making it just a base hit. You know, if she lets that go by her, could very easily be a double with Jordy Mason's speed. So now, instead of being at second, she's at first with 1 away.
Kaysen Thompson up has not reached base in her 3 at-bats. Appealing that ball had hit her, but in fact took a deflection off the bat, so a quick 0-2 count here for Thompson.
Yeah, that just hit the nub on the bat, and you know, it's a tough one to foul off because you're not swinging. You know it's a ball, but you know
that one too high. Runner goes, throw in time, not quite. And safe is the call for Jordy Mason. It was a good throw by the catcher Anderson. Got it out to second, but just couldn't put the tag down in time, Salazar. And Mason in scoring position with 1 out.
And that's why it's so important for Ottumwa to get Mason on base when she comes up. She's got so much speed out there, and she can really just add another factor to this Bulldog lineup and help them score some runs, which has been hard to come by against Griner so far. But Mason, she's had 2 strikeouts looking and grounded out to third base already today, but now she finally has the opportunity to steal it. She uses it.
2-2 pitches fouled at the backstop. Here, a bit of a rallying call from the Ottumwa dugout, trying to tie this game, send it to the bottom of the 7th. Washington trying to get out of it, and that's a big strike 3 for Griner. And Washington is 1 out away from taking the first of this doubleheader. 15th strikeout of the game for Colby Griner.
None bigger than that one, too. You got the tying run on second. You got Thompson, who's the number 2 batter for this team. able to strike her out, looking, to say the least.
So the designated player are now up to have to try and be the hero for Ottumwa and keep them in this game. It's Sam Weeks, has reached base once, singled in the third, struck out in the fifth in her last at-bat. Also struck out, or grounded out, I believe, in the first inning. Trying to nod this game at 2. The 1-1 to Weeks is outside for ball 2. Weeks, we've talked about her power throughout this game. It had 5 home runs last year, drove in 20 RBI. That was the most on the team. Hit 6 doubles as well. So the right batter up for Ottumwa, as that one is called high for ball 2. So hitters count to Weeks.
It's a dangerous spot. Weeks, she can change this game in an instant. All it takes is one swing. She's got the power to put it out over the fence.
Excuse me, it's a 3-1 count as Weeks drives that into right, and it drops in, and the tying run will score. Sam Weeks put some nice power on that one, found the gap out in right, and we are tied at 2 here.
What a great hit by Weeks. You know, she knows she doesn't have to drive it to the fence. She just needs to put it into some space out there in the outfield, and the run will score, and that's exactly what she does. She was jumping on him early all game, a lot of foul balls to the right side, but this time times it up just enough, waits on it just enough to sneak it inside the foul line and keep it fair, and now tie this game up here in the 7th.
Ottumwa going to call in a pinch runner here. Sam Weeks got, like you said, up in that count early. Gracie Rockhold, a freshman, coming in to run for Weeks. With 2 outs, can Ottumwa maybe build on this and potentially put even more pressure on Washington to try and take the lead back in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Caldwell had a double back in the 2nd.
That one driven right at Miller, and it will be the 3rd out. So Washington will have the last at bat to try and break this tie, or we'll be headed for extras, tied 2-2 on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with the flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Breaking news.
Are you looking for a sports show with intensity?
And we'll see you in court, Mark Cuban, you broke bum.
Are you looking for a sports show with passion?
Moment of silence for the name Wells Fargo Arena.
And are you looking for a sports show with whatever this is?
And today we are counting down Justin Bieber's top 10 girlfriends. That's right.
Make sure to check out Andy and Hunter every Thursday on Prep Sports Plus, breaking down all the high school sports from across the Southeast Iowa region, talking about all your favorite schools such as Washington, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, Pekin, and so much more. Make sure to check out Prep Sports Plus every Thursday at noon on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
Well, we had Jukebox Hero playing on the speakers. Who's going to be the hero for Washington? We're in the bottom of the 7th, tied at 2, and the top of the order up for the Demons. And we've got a thriller in the first of a doubleheader between Washington and Ottumwa. It has been a bit of a pitcher's duel. We've had both pitchers go the whole way. Colby Griner for Washington and Addie Thompson still in the circle now, trying to strike out or get out one of the best hitters for this Washington team. Leighton Salazar, Thompson that is, hasn't had a real good go of it so far. Salazar's gotten a double and a single, as well as walked in her 3 at-bats. Facing a 1-1, that one high. Here's count for Salazar.
This topped the order in the 5th inning. It's what gave the Demons the lead. They had a string of 3 base hits. All it took was 2 base hits with Salazar's speed snagging second base.
Salazar smacks that into left and does start the inning well for Washington.
Have yourself a day, Salazar. 3 hits so far. See if this thing goes into extras. Maybe she'll add another, but I mean, she's got a whole nother game too after this where she can add to her totals today, and she's really starting to bounce back from a tough start to the season, batting 167.
She goes towards second here, throw nearly in time, but safe is Salazar. So the winning run in scoring position for Washington. And, you know, we've talked about it. This isn't necessarily a Demons team. They are a good hitting team. They're a good offensive team. They're not necessarily a team that hits for power, but one player who has so far this year, Ella Greiner, one of just 2 Demons who have a home run on the year. She has 1, so does Olivia Anderson. Greiner an RBI single in the 5th. That put Washington 2-1 up. Can she drive in the winning run here?
All she needs is a base hit. Wouldn't be surprised if they try and have her lay down a bunt too, move that runner over to third with no outs.
The 1-0 to her. She did look to bunt that time, and you saw the first baseman for Ottumwa, Hunter Caldwell, sprinting over to try and get to it quickly. Greiner pulls back, and now has a 2-0 count. And maybe does she get tempted, try and swing it, or will she stick to the bunting strategy? Here's the 2-0. She does look to bunt, lays that one down. It's a good one as well, and Joel, to your credit, that's exactly what Greiner does. Advances the runner with 1 away, and 60 feet from scoring is Salazar.
And it just makes Colby Greiner's job now so much easier. All she needs is a fly ball into the outfield, and the Demons are going to win this game.
But and you see Frank Hudson going to call a meeting with his infield. And, you know, Joel, if you were Washington here, do you consider maybe, you know, just try and slap it down into the infield, just get something in play to try and move the runner? Or are you just telling Colby Greiner, you know, swing normal, treat this as a normal at-bat? What's maybe your strategy here if you're Washington, and as well for Ottumwa, if you know, your Coach Hudson, what are you telling your side defensively?
Yeah, so for Ottumwa, to start out with them, you're moving your defense infield end for sure. I mean, any ground ball, you're coming home with it. You got to get the out there. So the defense is going to be creeping up onto the batter. And if you're Washington, really, Colby Greiner's just got to swing with an uppercut. You know, just pop this ball up. It doesn't need to be deep into the outfield with Salazar's speed. It just needs to be deep enough. So I think an uppercut swing here would be the move, especially with that infield in. It's going to be tough to get a ground ball past them.
The first pitch from Thompson is chopped down toward the Washington dugout, so strike number 1 on the foul. Salazar did score 54 times. That was the most on the team last year. Did have 36 stolen bases as well, which is by far the most on Washington. That is probably not a suggestion that she tries to steal home, but it is a credit to her as a base runner, like you said, her speed.
Yeah, and that's something Thompson's got to make note of too. I mean, she puts one in the dirt and it gets past her catcher. That's a run for the Demons for sure. I mean, Salazar's going to be ready to go.
The bunt is laid down. Coming home is Salazar, and she's in! And the Demons walk it off on a crafty bunt attempt by Greiner. And Washington knocks off Ottumwa in a thriller in the first of a doubleheader. And if the second game is going to be anything like the first, we're in for a treat. What a thriller. Washington walks it off 3-2. We'll send it to a quick break on the Southeast Iowa Video Network and turn it right around. Washington wins on a walk-off bunt from Colby Greiner that drives home Leighton Salazar. Demons win the first of 2, 3-2 over Ottumwa.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
Here at The Morning Breath, we start every morning with style and grace.
Give me a
Engaging you with thoughtful and critically thinking topics to start your day.
Do you know that Pop-Tarts are like horrible for you?
While always maintaining a professional and family-friendly environment.
John, you're no longer a virgin.
Oh, and all the other stuff.
Flowers.
Yes.
Read the we talk on all over the world.
Out of There's another word for that. Peter, what do we call that? Cold.
It is cold. It's going to get
Weekdays at 7:15, only on the Southeast Iowa Video Network Facebook and YouTube page.
At Washington Lumber and Home Center, our extensive knowledge, great pricing, and a long list of local installation experts, you are guaranteed to get the service you deserve with the quality you should expect. Washington Lumber and Home Center, your local place for great results.
My name is Levi Lyle. I have lived in Kielder my entire life, but I've been an organic farmer for about a decade. Truly, the reason to do business locally is because of the joy and fulfillment that comes in relationships. Coming to Professional Proteins is an opportunity to work with good people.
At Wolf Floral, you'll find everything you need to spruce up your summer. Located on the southeast corner of the Washington Square, we've got you covered from small gift items to the finest floral arrangements around. Wolf Floral, unique by choice, not by chance.
Check out Community Profiles every Thursday, where our host, Greta Clemens, talks with people from around Washington about their stories and highlighting upcoming events. Make sure to tune in to Community Profiles every Thursday at 10 on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
At Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction, we provide everything from design to complete installation of your kitchen cabinets. For small town service with competitive prices, Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction are here for you.
There are places where all roads lead to families providing for their loved ones and their community. That's where you'll find us. Generation after generation, Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Welcome back to Washington Softball Stadium, where it was the Washington Demons winning a thriller in the first of two against Ottumwa. This is the Fairway Game Break presented by Fairway Meat and Grocery. And wow, Joel Keller, Jack Knowlton in the broadcast setup. What a game we had in the first one. And fitting the way it ended with Colby Griner able to make the play at the plate with her bat, opting to drop down the bunt that drove home Leighton Salazar from third, that walked it off in the bottom of the seventh for Washington. And I say fitting because it was Griner in the circle that did most of the work to set up that win for Washington, Joel. I think if there's we didn't discuss a MVP of the game, but I don't think there needed to be much discussion. It was Griner who was emphatic today for Washington.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. And let's start in the defense first. 15 strikeouts. You got 21 outs in a 7-inning game, so that's pretty impressive right there. And I think what's even more impressive is she had 7 strikeouts looking, and she was just keeping this Ottumwa team on their toes. And it's a team that came into this game hot on an offense, scoring a lot of runs against Des Moines East yesterday, and they just had a tough time against her. And, if you're Bella Salazar, you're probably coming in pitching this next game. You're watching and you're seeing what Colby Griner just did, mixing up a lot of pitches. Her breaking balls were just phenomenal. There a lot of movement there. The rise ball got a lot of strikeouts on that one. A lot of swings and misses.
Yeah, and offensively for Washington, obviously Griner stealing the show with just giving up those 2 runs and keeping Washington in it defensively. Leighton Salazar did her thing as well, reached base 4 times, 3 hits for her, including that single that was able to set her up, stole that base as well, or stole second as well, and was able to get advanced to third to set up that winning run. She did her thing offensively. In terms of the turnover now to game number 2, if we'll start with Washington, what do you have to continue doing, and how do you maybe generate a little bit more offense, as well as keep the defense going, like you said, with the good pitching and some of the good field play? How do you add the offense into that mix?
Yeah, well, they were doing their job at the plate. They got 8 hits. They just were never really able to string them together besides in that 5th inning and then, of course, the 7th inning. But a lot of their hits came in between outs, and they could never really get a rally going and get a lot of runners on base. So I think what they're going to really try and focus on is down the order, keep rotating it over. They did a good job in the first inning. I mean, they had 7 at-bats in the first inning, and they came in with just 1 run. But if they can get more hits to follow each other, that'll add to this offense. And, hitting's contagious, so they just had a great end to the game there. A lot of hits in the final 3 innings. So we'll see if they come out bats live this next game.
If you're Ottumwa now, of course, losing 3-2 is certainly well in this game. Addie Thompson, 6 strikeouts. They had some good offense generated themselves, but if you're Ottumwa, what do you have to do to reverse this result? Obviously, away from home, they haven't played at home yet this season, which is just a wild fact to me. I know we're early, but if you're Ottumwa, what do you have to do to reverse the result and maybe keep Washington limited, maybe make them a little more limited, maybe keep those hits spread out like you said, and then offensively, what do they have to do to put some more on the board?
Yeah, so starting on defense, they had a great day fielding-wise, and they're going to have to be really good behind the next pitcher. I would assume it's Hunter Caldwell coming in for the Bulldogs. She's the only other returner who's had some experience out in the circle, but they're going to have to support themselves offensively because the defense it's not going to be a pitcher's duel like we saw from Ottumwa. They're going to have a tougher time out there keeping the Demons on board, and so they're going to have to get a lot more hits. They're just going to have to make contact with the ball and be more aggressive in 2-strike counts. There's a lot of just sitting back and waiting and watching balls go by, and it benefited them a little bit. They got deep into a lot of counts. There's a lot of full counts that Griner had to battle through, but if they can be more aggressive on the 2-strike counts and swing at those strikes that they're throwing in there, that could help out the offense and awaken them up a little bit.
Well, it'll feel probably like a whole new game with a couple of new pitchers coming up to the circle. In the next one, we'll see who that may be. Isabella Salazar for Washington, see her warming up right now. And like you mentioned, Hunter Caldwell didn't have too much experience last year for this Bulldogs team, so how will that play a factor? Plenty of questions still to answer, but if we get anything like we got in the first game, it should be a fun one in the reverse fixture of this doubleheader. But Washington takes the first 3-2. We'll send it to another quick break as they fix up the field, players get re-warmed up, and we get locked in here for the second of a doubleheader between the Demons and Bulldogs coming up here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Welcome back to Washington softball field, where we are all set for game 2 here between the Washington Demons and the Ottumwa Bulldogs. Washington took the first in a thriller, and it's the Bulldogs with a quick response to start game 2 and a leadoff single by the right fielder Jordy Mason. Reached first base in the top of the 7th. That became the tying run before Washington was able to find the winner in the bottom of the 7th, courtesy of a Colby Griner bunt that drove home Leighton Salazar. So Miller starting things out. Colby Griner was also in the circle for game 1. In it for game 2, Isabella Salazar, a senior, very talented two-way player, as that one is driven toward left and able to be caught. Runner does not tag.
Yeah, and Bella Salazar is the returning ace of the Demons. I mean, she came in last year with a lot of experience, and she had a great year. But really, I mean, it's 1A, 1B for these two pitchers between Salazar and Greener. And Salazar, the senior this year, you know, she had a bit more experience last season.
Runner goes on the ball 1-2 Weeks, not thrown, not in time, so Mason will advance to second.
Well, that's why it's so important for the Bulldogs to get Mason on base. I mean, we saw it at the end of the game. She got on base and got around, and eventually it was the tying run. There's a pop-up there to third base, but if she can get on base, she just provides a lot of help for this Bulldog team that's had a tough time just getting runners across. She can do a lot of the job for the team by stealing second.
So Weeks popping up to third.
A good couple of quick outs there for Salazar after allowing the leadoff base hit and stolen base to get her to second.
Salazar, a senior, started 2 games already this season. Pitched 7 innings in total. Given up 10 hits, 6 earned runs, struck out 7 batters thus far, and has 2 outs to her name to start game number 2, as that one's fouled back that time by Ottumwa.
Sophia Mandibles in there settling. We saw her last game. Came in the pinch hit. Wasn't able to do much there.
Runner goes again toward third, throw not in time, and so Mason has taken 2 bases after a leadoff single to start game number 2.
I mean, she just needs no help from the rest of her offense to make her way around the bases. She just needs someone to bat her in.
Here's the 1-2 to Weeks. It's down and away for ball 2. So Salazar trying to get out of the inning quickly for Washington. Demons won the first game 3-2.
And in that game, Mendables in her one at bat struck out looking much like a lot of this Bulldogs lineup. So I think they're going to come out aggressive and start swinging the bats here, especially in these full counts. And that's where so far the Demons have been able to get a lot of strikeouts.
That one inside. Weeks thought it was ball 4. Instead, it's strike 3, and Washington gets out of the top of the first unscathed despite a leadoff single for Jordan Mason. We'll go to the bottom of the first here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Game number 2.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Your adventure starts here. Capper Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram will get you ready in style. Meet with our friendly and experienced team to find a vehicle that gets you on the road, and rely on our service shop to keep you there. Capper Auto Group. See yourself the Capper experience.
At First Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with the flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with First today and see why together is better.
Welcome back to Washington Softball Stadium. The Demons set to take their first at-bats with Leighton Salazar leading things off as she did in the first game. As we look at the starting lineups, a couple of changes in the bottom half of the order from game number one. Salazar still leading off. Ella Gardner, or Griner, playing center field at batting at second. Colby Griner switching over to first base after pitching the first game. She's batting third. Olivia Anderson, the catcher, fourth. Bella Salazar pitching this one in the 5-hole as a quick chopper in left center is down. Extra bases. We'll see if Salazar maybe tried to turn three, opted to stay two. So a leadoff double for the leadoff hitter for Washington, Leighton Salazar, and a good start for her.
Getting some deja vu right now. I mean, started off last game with a double, and here she is. Again, another double, and let's see if the Demons can do what they did last time, and that was bring her around for the first run of the ball game.
So here's Ella Griner. Get to those changes as well in the bottom half of the lineup. Hallie Cuddy back, keeping her spot in the 6th hole. Mackenzie Messer will hit 7th. Kalia Gurdens hitting 8th. Reagan Miller 9th. And Natalie Hartman will round out the flex players. That one trickles through. And Salazar will come all the way around to score. So a quick start. We mentioned in the fairway game break, talking about Washington need to get their bats hot and churn those hits together, turn them into runs. After 8 hits in the first game, they do so here. And, well, just like game number one, Joel, they start game number 2 up 1-0 with a run in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and we saw Lily Garrison at second base for Ottumwa last game make a lot of good plays with her glove. That one just getting past her will probably go down in the official books as an error as it bounced off her glove and into the outfield. And that's just a tough one to have if you're Ottumwa, and allows the first run of the ball game. And now there's another runner back on first base with no outs.
So Colby Gardner, like I said, will now play first. She drives that one into shallow right, and it's able to be caught there by Mason.
Good first out for Ottumwa, and their starting pitcher, Hayden Francis. Francis is a freshman, and she'll seemingly be taking over that second spot in the rotation. Most schools going with just the 2 pitchers, so she'll be getting a lot of experience.
Ball one taken. The throw was high and not in time, and Colby Gardner steals the base that time. All taken inside there for strike number 1. Here to Olivia Anderson. Well, the 1-1 swung on and missed. A nice pitch that time by the freshman Francis. Like you mentioned, the relative inexperience in this returning rotation. Sydney Rockhold was one of the best pitchers on this Ottumwa team last year. Didn't only have a 5-8 record, but just had a ton of experience and had a lot of those reps that are now gone, and of course have to be replicated by a youngster here in Francis. And so a big moment for her, trying to get Ottumwa to a win and get one of the first of her young career.
Yeah, Ottumwa's trying to replace 76 1/3 innings this season. It's a tough task to do.
All fouled out in front, hit off of Anderson that time. She'll do it again. The 1-2. Anderson drives that one into center and able to track it that time and get the second out of the inning. Ottumwa.
Pretty solid contact out there from Anderson. Just got a little too much underneath, but she met the ball right there, right at the top of the zone. and gave it a ride, just not enough to get over the head of the center fielder for the Bulldogs. It'd be Avery Frankie out there.
Bella Salazar, the first baseman, up here in the 5 spot for Washington. Smacks that one straight at second. That'll be the 3rd out of the inning. So Washington repeats their performance from the first inning of game number 1, and they're up 1-0 here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Come back for the second.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Summer is here, and Fairway's got you covered all baseball and softball season long. With a large variety and low prices, Fairway is the easy home run choice for all your grocery needs. Make Fairway your home field advantage.
Breaking news.
Are you looking for a sports show with intensity?
And we'll see you in court, Mark Cuban, you broke bum.
Are you looking for a sports show with passion?
Moment of silence for the name Wells Fargo Arena.
And are you looking for a sports show with whatever this is?
Welcome back to Washington Softball Stadium. It's a 1-0 early advantage. The Demons up over the visiting Bulldogs. Starting out at the top of the second. Swinging away that time is Lexi Ferguson. Ferguson, 3 at-bats in game number 1, singled on her 3rd one in the 6th inning.
Good couple of strikes right there from Salazar. And this Bulldog team is still keeping that bat on their shoulders. You know, let's get aggressive here. Let's start seeing some swings. There we go.
This is an Ottumwa team looking for some answers on offense. We talked about the answers they have to find in the circle. Ferguson, one of those players who didn't manufacture some last year, started 32 games, 7 RBI, 10 hits last year, and 90 at-bats. Well, an extremely efficient hitter and strikes out there, and so an early strikeout in the books for Bella Salazar, who looks locked in.
I think it's safe to say she was definitely watching Colby Greener in that last game and saw exactly what was working. That high cheese, hard for the Bulldogs to lay off and hard for them to make contact. There's another swing and miss with the ball up top. And Salazar was in a good position last game to watch the gem of a performance from Greener. She was starting at first base last game, now in the circle.
That one pops up to shallow right, and a collision there, and the ball drops. And so safe at first is Cammie Poles. It's a bit of a miscommunication out there in center and right. Messer's playing right this game. Ella Griner still out there in center and kind of tried to call Messer off. Looked like she initially was going to hold on to it despite the collision, but the ball just dropped out of her glove, and so a single in there for Cammie Poles.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think if she didn't hit the ground and just hit her teammate, she probably would have been able to hold on, but her hitting the ground, especially with the arm of which her glove is on and where the ball was sitting, that bumped it out of there and allowed for the runner to reach safely, and that's the first base runner of the ball game for the Bulldogs.
Hunter Caldwell, the Bulldogs' first baseman, up now. Reached second on her first at-bat and a double, struck out twice after that in the first game. Facing a 2-1 count early with 1 out here in the bottom of this, or the top of the second. Swing and a miss there. Runner goes. Throw is in time. The tag is not. We've had a couple close plays over there. Anderson has made some nice throws from catcher, and Salazar just a tad late with the tag. She's appealing to the ump as well. It was a close play.
Yeah, she's been right there on the throws. Just needs to be a little quicker, give her fielders a little more time, but it's tough. I mean, these runners have timed up these demon pitchers really well. They get great jumps out there at first base, and it's been really impressive to watch. And it's helped the Bulldogs to get those runners in scoring position. They just need a couple of hits to bring them around to home and help them get some runs.
2 strikeouts in this inning for Isabella Salazar. That'll raise her total to 9. She'll have to get a lot more than that if she wants to beat Griner's mark in game number 1. A little bit of maybe inter-squad competition going on there in a doubleheader situation like this as Garrison swings at the 2-0 and misses, so it's 2-1.
Some healthy competition for sure. And, she's right there. She's already got 3 strikeouts through the first 5 outs. That's right about the pace that Greener was going on.
Oh, and fouled straight backwards.
Now here she is, 1 strike away. Just got to get him the swing and miss.
Garrison struck out twice and was hit by a pitch in her 3 at-bats. Here is the pitch, and she does swing and miss. And that will end the top half of the second. We'll go to the bottom half here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Washington up 1-0.
At Washington Lumber and Home Center, our extensive knowledge, great pricing, and a long list of local installation experts, you are guaranteed to get the service you deserve with the quality you should expect. Washington Lumber and Home Center, your local place for great results.
My name is Levi Lyle. I have lived in Kielder my entire life, but I've been an organic farmer for about a decade. Truly the reason to do business locally is because of the joy and fulfillment that comes in relationships. Coming to Professional Proteins is an opportunity to work with good people.
At Wolf Floral, you'll find everything you need to spruce up your summer. Located on the southeast corner of the Washington Square, we've got you covered from small gift items to the finest floral arrangements around. Wolf Floral, unique by choice, not by chance. At Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction, we provide everything from design to complete installation of your kitchen cabinets. For small town service with competitive prices, Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction are here for you.
There are places where all roads lead to families providing for their loved ones and their community. That's where you'll find us. Generation after generation, Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Back here for the bottom of the second here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Washington leading Ottumwa 1-0 in game number 2 of this doubleheader. As Hayden Francis, the freshman in the circle for the Bulldogs. Her first batter in inning number 2, Hallie Cuddeback. Cuddeback struck out twice, walked in the first inning of game number 1. Cuddeback, 3 singles entering the game, was one of the hotter batters coming into this one, is looking for some momentum in game number 2 after a couple of strikeouts. Faced a good pitcher in Thompson, Addie Thompson of Ottumwa in the first game.
Yeah, but she keeps giving us some good at-bats, too. I mean, here she is now with the 3-1 count. She saw a lot of balls in that first game.
That one clipped towards center, tracking it. It carries to the wall. It's off the wall. And right on cue, there is the bat of Cuddeback working its magic. A leadoff double, the second leadoff double of the game for Washington. Leighton Salazar started the game off with a leadoff double in the bottom of the first. Cuddeback keeping things going here. Well hit ball. Carried over the head that time of the center fielder Avery Frankie for Ottumwa.
Yeah, I mean, she got all of that ball, put a great swing on it. Just need a little help from the elements. Maybe if the wind is behind her, that thing can escape.
Bunt attempt rolls foul down the third baseline for Mackenzie Messer. She was the flex player in the first game. Coming in, playing right field now played that defensively as that flex player, but didn't take any at-bats for Washington.
She'll be sliding into the 7th spot, and Natalie Hartman still out there at third base, but she won't be batting this game.
That bunt attempt rolls right back to the pitcher, Francis. She'll get the out, but advance the runner. So Messer does her job that time with the bunt. Cut it back over to third, Kayla Gurdens, the designated player. Up now for Washington. Kalia Gurdis had a quieter evening, struck out once, grounded out twice in game number 1.
Here's a great opportunity for the 8th grader. See if she can get a RBI right here. All she really needs to do is put it in play. Or you do see this Ottumwa infield creeping up a little bit, looking to make a throw to home if it's a hard grounder.
Yeah, obviously learned their lesson the hard way about Washington willing to bunt with a runner on third to drive them home. Won the game that way if potentially Gurdens does the same here. Swings a little bit late on that one, fouls it back. It'll be strike 2.
Yeah, and I think they got to look at what Washington did earlier in the game, and it never really came back to bite them. But do you remember that first game where there was the bunt or the soft grounder from Ottumwa fell in there? Ooh, nice strikeout there, breaking ball. Oh, they called too high.
Called too high. I wasn't sure about it either. It looked initially like Gurdens was walking away from that one, but
I think she thought it was a strike. I mean, from our angle, like I kind of thought it was a strike too, but hey, umpires got a better view than us.
Gurdens fouls that one back. Yeah, bat keeps going.
But anyway, I mean, in that first game, soft grounder to Washington's defense. They go home with it. Ottumwa gets to run home safely, and then the runner obviously gets to first base safely. So really in this position, you really early in the game got to get that out.
That one to third. It's bobbled, and the runner will come home, and Gurdens will curl in or cut in time to first. It was hit that time right at Carson Thompson, and she just couldn't corral it in her glove. So the best result that time for Washington. Still just one out and another run on the board, up 2-0 now.
Washington capitalizing on some Bulldog errors, and that's not exactly what the Bulldogs want to be doing right now with a young pitcher out there in the circle. They really got to be helping her out with some good defense.
That one high. Weeks trying to pick off Gurdens on the throwback that time. That one swung on and missed for strike number 2. That ball low, 3-1 hitters count here for Miller. That one fouled right at the backstop.
Good job batting off a tough pitch up there in the zone. Definitely in the zone, though. Got to swing at it.
So full count pitch coming. Swung on and missed. And a good big strike out there for Francis. Trying to battle her way out of this inning with only surrendering 1 run. But facing the top of the order now with Salazar. Back up.
Yeah, I really like that punch-out pitch there. It was a nice high fastball, easy to swing and miss.
Runner goes and in time. So Gurdens taking her base that time with the steal. This is a team that's looked relatively eager to run the bases, Washington. That one inside, ball 2. So hitters count for Salazar as well.
And you see Gurdis' jersey all dirty now. It's something that's been kind of lost, especially when you get to 3A, 4A, and 5A levels here in Iowa. A lot of turf fields going around, and you don't get the dirty laundry that you do when you slide in on a sandy field. And that was always the most fun part for me. I'm sure my mom didn't love me sliding all the time, but I was always going head first, trying to get as dirty as I can.
It's more old school. That's a 4-pitch walk to Salazar, which might be the safest play some of the time, given how well she can make contact with it. But 2 runners on with 2 outs now. You're absolutely right. I do enjoy the old school factor of that as well, not to overlook the sliding in the authentic dirt infield for Washington.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with the natural grass and the sand.
Ella Greiner back up now. Singled last time. Opportunity for a 2-out rally here, maybe. Nice pitch inside that time for Francis. This feels like a big moment for the freshman if she can get out of this inning. 1-1. Swung on and driven straight back. It'll catch off the press box and
well, now you got to protect with 2 strikes. With 2 outs, you still got a good opportunity to score a run. All you need to do is get a base hit. I mean, Gertis already stole second. She's got speed. You know it.
1-2. Nifty off-speed pitch there, but just hangs high for ball number 2.
That's the second breaking ball at the top that I think maybe could drop into the zone, but if the umpire's not calling it, you got to make that mental note and know that you got to drop the breaking ball a little lower.
That one swung on and driven into shallow center and over for it. That time is Avery Frankie, and that will get Francis out of the inning. But another run added for Washington. It's 2-0 here. Washington over Ottumwa on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Your adventure starts here. Capper Auto Group Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram will get you ready in style. Meet with our friendly and experienced team to find a vehicle that gets you on the road, and rely on our service shop to keep you there. Capper Auto Group. See yourself the Capper experience.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with a flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Back now for the top of the third, and it's a 2-0 advantage for Washington over Ottumwa. Avery Frankie leading things off for the Bulldogs. Here in this top of the third, end of the our last player in the order, Frankie, going to get things started. Got the final out to end that second inning, which could have been worse, Joel, for Ottumwa, but Francis able to escape. Drew some contact, had to deal with some runners on base, but managed to navigate her way out of it, and still just a 2-0 advantage. Not insurmountable, of course, for Ottumwa here.
Yeah, and on my box score, Francis still yet to have an earned run. Both their runs coming off of balls in play that the defense made an error on. So she's done a good job limiting some of the damage that she puts herself in early.
Popped up to shallow right.
Oh, yeah.
And the catch was made. What an incredible play out there and right by Mackenzie Messer. Sliding for it and able to keep it corralled in her glove.
Well, we saw the Bulldogs with some great defensive plays last game. Demons are like, how about my turn? And there's Messer. What a phenomenal grab. Getting the first out of the inning, too.
Great control there by Messer to steal the out away. Top of the order back up now. It's Mason. She singled to start this game. Just 2 hits given up so far for Isabella Salazar. It's the biggest discrepancy in game number 2 is that pitcher experience. Salazar, a senior, has been through it all here with Washington. Certainly a disciplined presence in the circle. Gets ahead in a 0-2 count as well.
And now she's got Jordan Mason in that 0-2 count, like you said. And this is the most dangerous hitter. It's been proven so far today. She's on base a couple times, and she's gotten around a lot.
And a swing and a miss there, and Mason strikes out. So 2 quick outs. Some help from the field on the first, and a strikeout. Salazar taking over for the second. Kason Thompson flew out in the first. Thompson fouls that off.
I'm really liking Salazar's rhythm right now. She's been moving pretty consistently, not a lot of pauses. Gets up there on the mound and on the rubber is ready to go.
Clipped into center and able to be grabbed that time by Griner. And that will end the top of the third. We'll go right back to a break. Still 2-0 lead here for Washington on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with a flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Summer is here, and Fairway's got you covered all baseball and softball season long. With a large variety and low prices, Fairway is the easy home run choice for all your grocery needs. Make Fairway your home field advantage.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
Back here at Washington softball field, Colby Griner leading things off, takes a ball to start at the bottom of the third. Washington up 2-0 on Ottumwa. And Joel, we're almost through 3 innings here. What differences have you noticed between games 1 and 2 from both sides here?
Yeah, so Ottumwa, I haven't noticed too much difference, but the Demons, the ground out there, they've definitely put more balls in play so far. Only the 1 strikeout through 2 1/3 innings, and they've done a really good job, especially in that first inning, putting on back-to-back runners. They had a nice sack bunt in the second inning and was able to get them around. They've capitalized a lot more on the Bulldogs' defense. He's committed a couple errors.
Just on cue, that one hit into play, and Olivia Anderson will single to straightaway center there. And I think you're right, and I keep going to your point in our between-game show. You know, when you talked about those stringing hits together and building off of that, early momentum, especially when you start innings with your first leadoff or second hitter getting on base, you're able to capitalize on that. I agree. I think it feels like Washington's done a better job of that as Bella Salazar comes up.
Yeah, and not only stringing together hits, but also when there's not 2 outs in the inning. If you can attack and get people aboard early on in the inning with no outs or 1 out like it is here, it opens up the door for a lot of possibilities. You can lay down a bunt. You can go with a sac fly to move a runner over. And it's just way easier to get that runner across.
Salazar drives that into left, and another single. 2 runners on now for Washington. Snuck through that gap between third and shortstop. And, you mentioned sac flies and bunts, and all that strategy is great. Or you can just, find gaps in the outfield and keep hitting singles. That's certainly the way that Coach Ben Oberman will prefer above all else, as Washington gets 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah, definitely, though. Keep the run going. Now it's Hallie Cuddy back, and she had that double back in the second. If she can replicate that, that brings some one, maybe even two.
That one shipped towards shallow center and will drop again. Throw over to third, though, is past the third baseman. And everyone will hold up. Bases loaded. It was a really good throw from Frankie from center field. Should have beat the runner, but got past Ferguson on third base.
I like the idea. It would have been a great job getting the lead runner out, but I think I would have preferred going to second there. They had much easier play.
That one shipped towards shallow right. It's a tough play. Runner will tag and score. So out number 2. Excuse me, the runner was off first, so it's a double play. And in the end, Ottumwa is going to escape this with no earned runs. Wow, turn of events there. Washington getting some contact on it, but will ultimately strand 3. We'll go to the top of the 4th here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
Breaking news.
Are you looking for a sports show with intensity?
And we'll see you in court, Mark Cuban, you broke bum.
Are you looking for a sports show with passion?
Moment of silence for the name Wells Fargo Arena.
And are you looking for a sports show with whatever this is?
And today we are counting down Justin Bieber's top 10 girlfriends. That's right.
Make sure to check out Andy and Hunter every Thursday on Prep Sports Plus, breaking down all the high school sports from across the Southeast Iowa region, talking about all your favorite schools such as Washington, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, Pekin, and so much more. Make sure to check out Prep Sports Plus every Thursday at noon on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
Back now for the top of the 4th, and Sam Weeks up to bat for Ottumwa, but Joel, an opportunity missed in the last inning for Washington. 2 outs, a fly out into a double play. Tough break there for Washington. Had the runner cheating off first just a little bit too much, and that blooper into shallow right. A big moment for Ottumwa to get out of that inning.
Yeah, and it was back-to-back shallow fly balls, and the first one able to find the ground. And I mean, we saw the Demons had 2 runners that could have been caught stranded out there between the bases. So this time it was Cuddy back, trying to get a little jump on it, but it was a great play there at second base by Garrison, as we've seen all day from her. And, you know, it's a tough one to eat if you're the Demons. You have bases loaded, 1 out, and you don't end up scratching one across from that. But luckily, you've already got 2 runs aboard, and you're up by 2. So it's not a killer, but it sure would have been nice to grab a 3rd or maybe even a 4th run.
Well, a quick 0-2 count now for Weeks, and Salazar has stayed locked in, and certainly one thing that will help Washington eat that moment is Salazar continuing the way she's been playing as Weeks fouls that one back, staying in the at-bat here, but another 0-2 pitch coming. That one swung on, dribbled toward first, it'll go foul.
I think a big difference that I've seen so far between Salazar and Greener is Salazar continues to attack the zone. She's not going for as many strikeouts as Greener is. I mean, she's still got 5, but she's not hunting for it. You see it here. She started off with quick 2 strikes, and instead of trying to get Weeks to chase, she's gone right back into the zone. Weeks able to foul off the previous 2 pitches, but I really like how she's attacking the zone, and she's willing to trust her defense, I think, a little more, which will help her be a little more efficient than Greener. Of course, Greener's not going to give up too many hard-hit balls, which is where Salazar could eventually be beat with this strategy.
That one, last pitch was in the dirt, so a 1-2 coming here to Weeks. Swung and a miss. And Salazar, her 6th strikeout of the evening. Continuing some excellent form, gets some love from the infield there. Up now, Sophia Mendibles struck out in the 1st. It just hangs on the edge of that zone for ball 1.
Yeah, there's not a lot of space up there near the top of the zone. It's a pretty small one at the top. It's a little different than we saw in the prior game, but it's something that you got to adjust to, and you got to keep mental notes of. If you need a strike, you got to keep it down below the belt.
Saw Mendable's pitch hit last game, struck out in her first at-bat in the first inning. 2-0 lead for Washington here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Top of the fourth. That one's in there for strike 2.
If you're a batter and you're keeping note of what the strike zone is like this game, it's already tough to lay off that high fastball, but if they're not calling it, you got to control yourself.
That one bounced towards short. Salazar, play in time for out number 2. Nice throw over there by Leighton Salazar. Saw her miss on a close one, trying to pick off a runner, stealing. Had some tough plays over there at short, but able to collect that one no problem. And up now, Lexi Ferguson, struck out in the second. Still just 2 hits given up as well for Isabella Salazar on the mound. That one's driven, though, deep to center. Back for it. And able to collect it near the wall. And safe into second is Lexi Ferguson. Saw a couple of Demons players celebrate. Thought for a second that Griner had made a spectacular catch, but she was able to pin it near the wall. Not let that go for more than a double. But still a nice shot there for Lexi Ferguson and the Bulldogs with 2 outs.
Yeah, that was just an unreal recovery out there in center field by Greener. I mean, if she doesn't grab it as quickly, maybe it gives Ferguson the opportunity to go to 3 with it hanging up in the air for so long. But she just kind of like dropped her glove down in it, and the ball just made its way into the glove like a magnet.
Brianna Griffiths is in to pinch run for Ferguson. Griffiths played catcher in the first game. Did have an RBI in that one as well, and was used as a base runner heavily last year. Was scored 23 times. That led Ottumwa. As a hitter's count here for Cami Pauls. Singled in her first at-bat in the second inning. Chance to maybe do the same. Could score Griffiths. Paul swings and saws that one behind the Washington dugout. 2-1 count.
Just needs a base hit to go through the gaps and make its way into the green.
Two 1 to Poles. Outside and a through 1 count now, so a real opportunity here for Cami Poles, a senior playing left field, started 29 games last year. Here's Poles. Swings and drives that one into right center. It gets down, and that will score Griffiths, and Poles will cruise into second. So a bit of a 2-out rally here for the Bulldogs, and they are on the board, 2-1 now.
Well, I think beginning of the inning, I was talking about how Salazar could be beat out there in the circle, and it's the hard hit balls. If she keeps pounding the zone, it's going to give the Bulldogs a little more opportunities to swing the bat, and they sure have taken advantage of some pitches that have just hung over the middle a little too much, and that's why they've gotten back-to-back doubles here with 2 outs.
Hunter Caldwell up now, the designated player for Ottumwa. Struck out her first at-bat, but is up 2-0, and once again, another early hitter's count here. And you can feel, again, that moment with the bases loaded for Washington. Coming back to bite them now with, if Caldwell can drive in this run. She drives that, or pops that one up into shallow right. It gets down. Rounding third is Poles. She slides, and the throw was not in time. Is safe is Pauls, and we are tied here in the top of the fourth. It was an excellent throw from right field by Messer, and frankly, I thought that was probably in time, but umpire making the call, and safe it was and Pauls cruises in. So 2-2 now here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, I think, rounding around second, Paul's around third. She kind of hesitated on whether or not she was going to go, and it made Messer kind of hesitate on the throw in. And then once Messer realized that Paul's was going, she was a little late on the throw, and it was just late enough to where Paul's was able to sneak in a split second before the tag was laid down.
Caldwell making it to second as well, so back to back. Doubles for the Bulldogs, 2 consecutive RBI, and we're tied. Whole new ball game here between Washington and Ottumwa. The second of a doubleheader. Lily Garrison for a second at bat here. Showing bunt, pulls it back, swings, and fouls it straight back.
We'll see here how Salazar is able to recover. Greener last game did a great job after allowing a couple of runs to lock back in and limit the damage in those innings. And also, whenever she allowed a couple of runners in the scoring position, but she was able to bounce back and keep them off the board for the most part. So let's see what the older Salazar can do here.
That one popped into right, and that's going to score another run for the Bulldogs. So Garrison keeping things going in the visitor dugout, very loud right now, as Ottumwa takes a 3-2 lead. Garrison singling.
And that just shows how important it was for Caldwell to get over the second on the throw on her base hit. It allowed for her to score off of that base hit by Garrison, and now, the Bulldogs are on top by 1.
Completely flipping the game over the latter half of their order. The 9-hitter now, Avery Frankie, flew out last inning. Chips that one into shallow right. Same spot as Garrison, who will cruise into second. And this is some 2-out rally by the Bulldogs. And they're back to the top of the order here in the fourth with Jordy Mason.
Yeah, that's 5 consecutive hits now. Salazar's going to have to stop the bleeding here. Talking to her catcher Anderson right now. Just got to say, all you need is 1 out. You got 3 force outs available at third, second, and first. Just got to use one of them.
Salazar played the entire way in Washington's last game, an 8-1 win, over Cardinal. Swing and a miss that time, so a good first pitch to Mason.
That's what we in the business call that a sword swing. Just absolutely fooled Mason, which is really impressive, especially with how Mason
lays down the bunt. It pops up. This is going to be a tough play, and she is safe. And all of a sudden, the situation Ottumwa faced to end the third, Washington now finds itself in here with 2 outs in the fourth, bases loaded, and a pivotal moment in the game you have to think coming, Joel, now, with Kaysen Thompson stepping up. The shortstop has not reached base yet, but a huge moment here with 2 outs.
Yeah, this is a batter that they went up there. She's their number 2 in the order for a reason. Got Weeks on deck. See if they can bat around. Weeks would be a big bat to have in there. Their power bat could provide some massive damage if she can get to the plate.
Longest inning of either of the 2 games as that one's driven foul down the third baseline. Like you mentioned, if it reaches Sam Weeks, who is on deck, Ottumwa will have batted around in this 4th inning. Salazar trying to avert the damage again. If as much as a 3-1 inning stings, it would still just be a 3-2 game if they can get it out here. The 0-2. Called strike 3, and Salazar does get out. But it was an eventful top of the 4th for Ottumwa as they flip the scoreline up 3-2 now on Washington. We'll come back with the bottom of the 4th on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
At Washington Lumber and Home Center, our extensive knowledge, great pricing, and a long list of local installation experts, you are guaranteed to get the service you deserve with the quality you should expect. Washington Lumber and Home Center, your local place for great results.
Here at the Morning Breath, we start every morning with style and grace.
Give me a
Engaging you with thoughtful and critically thinking topics to start your day.
Do you know that Pop-Tarts are like horrible for you?
While always maintaining a professional and family-friendly environment.
John, you're no longer a virgin.
Oh, and all the other stuff.
Flowers.
Yes.
We talk on all over the world. Out of
There's another word for that. Peter, what do we call that? Cold.
It is cold. It's going to get
Weekdays at 7:15, only on the Southeast Iowa Video Network Facebook and YouTube page.
My name is Levi Lyle. I have lived in Kielder my entire life, but I've been an organic farmer for about a decade. Truly, the reason to do business locally is because of the joy and fulfillment that comes in relationships. Coming to Professional Proteins is an opportunity to work with good people.
Back now for the bottom of the fourth inning between Washington and Ottumwa, where we have a whole new ball game on our hands. Washington ended the third up 2-0, and Ottumwa nearly batted around to start the fourth and have a 3-2 lead. Jack Knowlton, Joel Keller on the call on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. End of the order up here for Washington. Kayla Gendens is going to start it off, or Gerdens, excuse me. But Joel, big inning for Ottumwa, and again, really have to feel the sting if you're Washington going back to the stranding those three runners on the double play flyout to end that inning. And well, Ottumwa frankly did do the same thing in the end of the top of the fourth. Did also strand the bases loaded. So both teams doing so, but a big 3-run inning for Ottumwa.
Yeah, they were just jumping on Salazar there. They got a couple pitches they liked, and each one of those fly balls, if it was hit about 10 feet to either the left or the right side, that's a catch to the outfielders. But no, they put it in the gap between right and center field a couple of times. I think it was 3 in a row, and that's really what killed this Demons team. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you go back to the bottom of the third, the bases loaded, and then one run came across to score on the tag, but the double play took it off the board. And if the runner at first could have got back in time, we're tied at 3 instead of the Demons being down 1.
So Gerdens singled in the second. See if she can start off Washington right here to try and get one back. They won the first game by this scoreline in the bottom of the 7th on a walk-off sacrifice bunt by Colby Griner. Drove home Leighton Salazar.
If you're the Demons, it's your first time today playing behind, but you can't get too aggressive. You just got to stay patient. What you've been doing at the plate has been working. Just wait for your pitch. They've brought very neutral attack to the plate where they're not being overly aggressive, but they're also not being overly conservative. They're just right in the middle, waiting for their pitches, but they will protect too, and they do pretty solid with 2 outs.
2-2 to Gerdens is fouled past the third base line. Gertis, and just an 8th grader stepping up to the varsity level. He's had some good moments so far this season, obviously early stages of it for Washington. It fouls off another pitch, so another 2-2. Inside, full count now for Gertis.
Great job to lay off. It's a breaking ball. It looks pretty good on the inside, but she's able to locate it, and it's too far inside for her liking. She thinks it's a ball, and that's what it is.
Payoff pitch inside, and not a single, but Gertis gets a runner on for Washington to start the bottom of the 4th.
It's one of those situations where a walk's as good as a hit right here to lead off the inning. You just get that runner on. And Gertis got on in the second off an error, but she was able to steal a second. So we'll see if she goes on the move here soon, too.
And now it's Reagan Miller, and Gertis does go on the move, but she is caught. Nice play made at second. It was a good throw over by Weeks.
That is huge for the Bulldogs. Looks like
Gertis collided, it looked like that time, with, I believe it might have been the shortstop Thompson. Just being checked on by the staff. Looks like she's going to walk that one off.
Yeah, massive for the Bulldogs. I mean, you allow her to steal second. That's a runner in scoring position, the tying run, with no outs. And instead, bases are empty and you got one away.
Had a couple close plays at second on some of those pickoff attempts from the catcher. Both catchers, Weeks and Olivia Anderson for Washington, have made some nice throws over. Some tags until now haven't been quite in time, but that one was. And, well, Thompson rewarded for taking quite a shot there.
Yeah, I'd say we were probably due for a runner caught stealing today. We've been so close on either side. But that time, finally getting to second just before the runner. A great play.
So now one out for Miller. That ball inside. Count goes to 1-1. Chop towards short. Thompson will make that play and get the second out there for the Bulldogs. So Kaysen Thompson, if there's anything bothering her, it certainly didn't look like it that time.
Yeah, she made a nice move. That's a hard ground ball. It's a hard play. We saw that cause her trouble in the first game, and this time she's able to handle it well and throw it over the first in time.
So top of the order back up, and Leighton Salazar has been her usual self today. A double in the first, a single in the second, back up with 2 outs in the fourth. Can she trigger a similar rally to what Ottumwa found in the top half of the inning? I must say some credit, too, to Francis for trying to dial things in, playing with a lead now. Sort of an unexpected flip of the game really quickly, and that can be a lot of pressure to deal with for a freshman. And certainly this game is far from over, but she's dealt with this bottom half of the inning fairly well so far as Salazar takes ball 3, and
this should be a big out here. Salazar yet to get out in this full day if you include game 1.
And that streak continues as she takes ball 4 and will take her base with 2 outs, bringing up Ella Greiner.
Greiner today, a couple RBIs. She had one in the first game to put him back on top by 2.
That one's high. Salazar goes. Throw wayward that time. Salazar not going to take another base.
And then Greiner had the ball that was put in play that brought home a run in to start off this game in the first inning. She reached on an error, but the RBI is still there.
That ball inside. Did 2-0 count here for Greiner. The 2-0 inside, and another hitter's count here. Francis having to get back in command of this at-bat. Going to be tough against the talented hitter in Greiner. That one high, and a 4-pitch walk, so 2 aboard now for Washington.
And how this inning has gone, it just shows how important it was for them to get that out at second on the stolen base. If they don't do that, it's bases loaded and 1 out instead of just first and second and 2 outs.
So here's Colby Greiner now.
But Francis, she needs to focus in her pitches, just lock it on the strike zone. Don't worry about the runners aboard. Ever since that walk to Salazar, she's had a lot of trouble finding the zone.
Does get a strike that time, so 1-1. She lost the ball on the throwback from Weeks, and good reminder that it's always in play on the defensive side. You saw a couple of Bulldogs run for it. Salazar didn't go, so no harm, no foul in the end, as that one's inside for strike 2. Nice breaking ball in there.
Yeah, good bounce back for Francis. Here we go. Keep pounding the zone, throwing strikes. That's all you can do out there in the circle.
That one chopped foul, so Griner staying alive in the at-bat. Another good breaking ball, though. Seemed to drop a little bit. Griner just a bit under it.
Yeah, good protective swing, but that's one of those pitches that we've seen the umpire call a ball if she lets it go.
Griner under it again, lifts it foul above the dugout.
2 strikes, of course. If you think it's close, you got to swing at it and just give it an offer to stay alive.
Griner was the hero of Game 1. It'd certainly be a heroic moment with the scoreline at 3-2 in the Bulldogs. The pitch to Griner. Swings and drives that one, and it's foul again. So a lengthy at-bat here. The 1-2 to Griner. Swing and a miss, and Francis does get out of the 4th with the 3-2 Ottumwa lead intact and 2 stranded for Washington. We will go to the 5th with the Bulldogs leading here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
At Wolf Floral, you'll find everything you need to spruce up your summer. Located on the southeast corner of the Washington Square, we've got you covered from small gift items to the finest floral arrangements around. Wolf Floral, unique by choice, not by chance.
Check out Community Profiles every Thursday, where our host, Greta Clemens, talks with people from around Washington about their stories and highlighting upcoming events. Make sure to tune in to Community Profiles every Thursday at 10 on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
At Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction, we provide everything from design to complete installation of your kitchen cabinets. For small town service with competitive prices, Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction are here for you.
There are places where all roads lead to families providing for their loved ones and their community. That's where you'll find us. Generation after generation. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Back now between Washington and Ottumwa, the Bulldogs with a lead intact here in a leadoff pinch hitter situation for the Bulldogs. Aaron Ward up to bat. A senior hitting for the first time in either game. Swings and misses there. Ward last year played in 28 games, had 6 hits to her name. 0-2 pitch, it misses for a ball. Ward, 322 hitter a year ago, had 70 at-bats.
He's having a tough day so far. That'll continue.
Swung on and missed that time. And that will bring up Menables. So Ward hitting that time for Weeks.
It's a good bounce back for Salazar. I mean, she had a tough inning last inning. Starts off with the strikeout. Let's see if she can do the same here.
That first one high to Sophia Menables, who's struck out and ground out here today. That one chopped toward right field and down, and those sort of, not elite contact, but just kind of bloopers into the shallow outfield of, Ottumwa has just lived off of those here in the middle portion of this game.
Yeah, I mean, they really have, and I mean, for the Demons, there's really nothing you can do there. You just got to sit there and just kind of limit the damage, make sure they can't turn it from a single to a double. But it's just unfortunate for the Demons that they're not allowing hard contact by any means most of the time. But they're finding it tough to get some outs.
Katie McKinnon going to pinch run there for Venables. So here's Lexi Ferguson. Started off the rally in the top of the fourth with that double. That was followed up by two more by Caldwell and Garrison, who will come up next. That one is crushed toward left center, and underneath it, well, is Griner. What a nice track down by Ella Griner in center. Could have been another rally starter maybe for the Bulldogs. Instead, it's out number 2.
Griner got an outstanding jump on that. Able to catch up to the ball and make almost an even better catch. Barely able to hang on it. Goes crashing into the wall, and just what a play.
She's shown some wheels out there. Griner, she got down to one earlier in the game where it dropped, but could have bounced off the wall and then maybe a triple instead, kept the damage at a double. But credit to Ferguson getting some good contact on it this game, but well tracked that time. Now up comes Cami Poles, drove in that RBI. That one's chipped towards short. It's dropped by Salazar. It was a tough catch over the shoulder. Tried to pull it in, nearly did. Unable to corral it. So 2 aboard with 2 outs. And Hunter Caldwell up, a dangerous part of the order. Salazar just trying to get out of this inning and escape with no runs allowed.
Yeah, this is the part of the order last inning that really got to her. She's got to get it out here. She's almost had 2 back-to-back great plays by her defense, but the 1 out will suffice out of those 2 hard-hit balls. I'd love to see the expected batting average on those balls. I'm sure it's way up there, over 800. Almost an outstanding grab by
some advanced metrics we here at the Southeast Iowa Video Network unfortunately can't employ, but
in the future,
you make an excellent point. Yes, that one's popped up towards center. Underneath it is Miller. Catch made, and not as much trouble that time for Salazar and Washington. They get out of the 5th unscathed. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th with Ottumwa still up 3-2.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Your adventure starts here. Capper Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram will get you ready in style. Meet with our friendly and experienced team to find a vehicle that gets you on the road, and rely on our service shop to keep you there. Capper Auto Group. See yourself the Capper experience.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with a flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back to Washington softball field. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning in the 2nd of the doubleheader between Ottumwa and Washington. The Demons trailing the Bulldogs 3-2 as Ottumwa trying to answer a loss in the first game with a win here. As some hard-hit contact toward third isn't corralled that time by Ferguson, and the lead-off hitter Olivia Anderson is going to cruise into first with an infield single.
Oh, no matter how you get on. Doesn't have to be a double, doesn't have to be a home run. Just got to get that tying runner aboard and let your team go to work behind you.
Bella Salazar singled in the third, grounded out in the first. She's up here. She is in the circle for Washington. Defensively has had a strong day apart from that fourth inning. Trying to stay dialed in. If Washington can take the lead back, she'll probably go the distance and have to close things out for them. So certainly a hit. And I have to think, especially at this level of how many players you have play both ways, a hit might do worlds for your confidence when you're back in the circle. If Salazar, can assist in tying or taking the lead back for Washington, that's only going to help her psyche on the circle.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You get her feeling well, feeling confident out there. And, it's much easier to pitch when you've got a lead or even a tie ball game than when you're down. When you're down, it just feels like you can't make any mistakes. You got to be perfect.
Salazar walked there in 4 pitches, and so 2 aboard with nobody out. And this is who you want up if you are Washington. Hallie Cutterback doubled in the second, singled in the third. And this could potentially be a pitching change here for Ottumwa. It has been the freshman Hayden Francis, but out there right now is Addison Thompson, Adeline Thompson, who pitched the first game, and she is going to come in to deal here for the rest of the way and has one heck of a situation to deal with 2 aboard and nobody out. Joel, what do you make of the change here for Ottumwa going back to Thompson, who, of course, went the full 7 innings in the first game?
Yeah, no, I do like it. She's been getting roughed up a little bit here in the past couple of innings. She hasn't really had a clean inning, but now you go back to Thompson. You really need to win this game if you're Ottumwa. You can't get swept against Washington here, even though it's on the home field. They started off yesterday with 2 wins on their season, and to drop down to 2-2 after the first 2 days of your year, it'd be a tough one to eat going into the weekend. So I like the move going to your ace, and she's had a nice little hour and a half break.
All you need, right?
Yeah, I think the arm's ready to go.
Thompson last year pitched 22 games, including 18 starts. She did go 6-13. Had a couple of saves, so his experience coming in relief. Gave up 109 hits at an opposing ERA of 2.28.
I think another thing to look at is who's due up for the Demons. You got Cuttyback and Messer, who hasn't seen Thompson, and then Gertis. And Gertis and Cuttyback they had a tough time against Thompson. Only Cuttyback was able to reach base with a walk in the first inning of the first game, but after that, it was all outs between the two.
That ball gets behind the catcher Weeks, and runners will advance. So runners on second and third now with nobody out for Washington. It's a good point. It's a timely change. Cuttyback, I mentioned that double in the second, single in the third. She's gotten on base today, or in this game 2 at least. Has a big opportunity here. That one outside for ball 2. That ball misses, and the runner's going to come home and be safe. Tag up at third, not in time. And disaster that time for the Bulldogs as the throw back to Thompson got away from her. And smartly, Anderson recognized it and sprinted home, and just like that, we're tied.
And I think that's been the story of the game so far. Ottumwa, they got their 3 runs through a string of 6 hits in a row. But Washington, they've just been taking advantage of what the other team's mistake. They've been taking advantage of every mistake the Bulldogs have had, and the 2 pass balls puts the runners from first to second and third, and eventually third and home for a run. And that's how you win ball games. It makes me think of the World Series last year in the MLB. The Yankees players at the end of the game said, Dodgers took advantage of the mistakes that we made, and that's how baseball games are won. Well, it's the same for softball here, and you're seeing it live. The mistakes in the field. We have yet to see an earned run for the Bulldogs right now. I guess that one technically is earned with a pass ball, but Washington really hasn't had to do much to bring him across.
Cuddyback makes some good contact there, but the count will go to full at 3-2. When Hayden Francis was in the game last inning, there was a throwback to her that she also failed to corral, and you saw a couple of infielders for the Bulldogs run in and make sure that the ball didn't, stay in play and allow those runners to go as Cuddyback strikes out. And how does that affect your psyche for Thompson? Obviously, it's you want that experience. That's why Ottumwa turned to her and she gets a strikeout there. So good initial response, but a disastrous error has tied this ball game with 1 out.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on you coming into a game with no outs and 2 runners on, and you just got to put the ideal of failure away from the back of your head. It's really hard to do when you're standing out there. You're like, things could go wrong if I make a mistake, and then she has the pass ball, which moves the runners to second and third, and I'd almost guarantee what she's thinking in her head is don't throw it in the dirt, don't throw it in the dirt, don't throw it in the dirt, and that's when you throw it in the dirt, is when you're overthinking and you're putting that image into your mind. So she's just got to just center herself back and tell herself to throw strikes, find the glove, and good things will happen. As you saw in the last game, she had a really good outing and just got beat by good offense, what the Demons had. Only held them to 3 runs, and Washington was just able to scratch across the run there in the 7th inning.
Bunt shown on the second, strike called. That one outside. It was a check swing for the first strike that was deemed that Mackenzie Messer went. Had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning. Flew out for that infamous double play to end the 4th.
Well, the Bulldogs are definitely going to try and throw the runner out at home if it's a ground ball. We've got that infield way in.
That one was sawed toward the street out there behind the Washington dugout. We don't have as much of a car hitting risk at the Washington softball stadium as we do over at Washington baseball, the Washington baseball field.
Yeah, I didn't have to plan strategically of where I was going to park for the foul balls.
1-2 is high. Big moment you have to feel with 1 out.
Oh, yeah, a strikeout here would be huge, dude. If you can get the 2 outs with that runner on third, it just opens up just a throw over the first. The defense can back up, because right now when you're forward, you don't have a lot of reaction time.
2-2 is high. Nice catch there by Weeks. That nearly went over her glove. Ball was peeking out of the top of her catcher's glove there.
Would have been another nightmare throw for Thompson, but she's just got to focus back in.
Full count to Messer. Swung on and missed. And a big strikeout, it must be said, for Thompson and for Ottumwa. Curtis back up.
You said it, though. What a strikeout. That was needed. Now the defense can back up a little bit, and you can play the force out at first. That
ball gets away, and Washington has the lead. Another error. That one got past Weeks. We saw the high pitch just a batter ago that nearly got away from her. That one just trickled away from Weeks as she tried to bring it in, and Washington takes the lead on another error. 2 huge mistakes for Ottumwa, and the Bulldogs the Demons, cash in.
Yeah, that is just, it's amazing on how the Demons have been able to capitalize on the errors of Ottumwa. They have truly taken advantage of every opportunity that's been given to them, and they've been able to make a lot out of nothing, and they haven't had to do much at the plate to score these 4 runs, to be honest.
1-1 to Gertis, and that one bounced well in front of the plate in the dirt. And if you're Thompson, just has to take a deep breath here and dial this in, just get out of this inning. Again, it's still just similar to how Washington was at the end of the 4th. It is just a 1-run game. Swung on and missed that time by Gertis, so it's 2-2.
Yeah, if you're Thompson, you're definitely thinking, let's get out of this inning now. Get back to the dugout, and then you just got to push it out of your mind. Just forget about it. And then come out in the 6th inning and hold Washington to where they're at.
2-2 gets away again. Out. That ball was just well away from Weeks, and Thompson is all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, and it's almost like every other pitch. It's one pitch, you see her throw a really nice strike, one that the Demons just can't catch up to, and then the next one, it's way out.
Payoff is away, and Gertis will take her base with 2 outs.
So not quite out of the woods yet. Still needs that 3rd out of the inning.
Seen Gertis try to take off a couple of times, see if she does so again. Reagan Miller struck out in the 2nd, grounded out in the 3rd. Gertis is taking a big lead off of that first base. Washington with a 4-3 lead, looking for the sweep over Ottumwa in the doubleheader. Reagan Miller swings and pops that one back.
We've seen all 3 batters that Thompson has faced this inning go to full counts. She just needs a quick at-bat, I think, to get right back on pace to where she was in that first game.
That one inside for another ball. Miller, just a freshman infielder, but has started all 3 games, has a couple of walks this year, didn't have a hit coming into this game, then got on base on her first pitch in game number 1 tonight with a single, has a 3-1 here. And that one inside for a strike. So a full count coming to Miller.
4th consecutive one for Thompson. A lot of pitches thrown.
It has been some sort of a 5th inning for Washington. Full count to Miller. Chops that one. This will be a tough one. The throw is in time, and Thompson makes a nice play in the field to end a busy inning and a crucial one for Washington as they go back up 4-3. We'll head to the 6th here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Summer is here, and Fairway's got you covered all baseball and softball season long. With a large variety and low prices, Fairway is the easy home run choice for all your grocery needs. Make Fairway your home field advantage.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
Back here in a game that has flip-flopped back and forth, it is Washington with a lead heading into the 6th after a no-hit 2-run 5th inning. Jack Knowlton. Joel Keller on the call. And there was some inning, Joel, in the bottom of the 5th for Washington. I mentioned it's 2 runs, no hits. You don't see that too often, but it was mistakes by Ottumwa. And is that maybe potentially the fatigue of a doubleheader creeping into the psyche a little bit of the Bulldogs as going down 0-2 here and the first at-bat of the 6th, but it's going to be difficult to climb out of, have to overcome those mental hurdles if you're Ottumwa here.
Yeah, you really do, and, that very well could be it.
So that one popped up in a great catch by Anderson. Olivia Anderson's made some nice plays at catcher, picked off a runner attempting a steal earlier in this game, makes a nice catch there and a quick first out for Washington. You were saying, Joel, before that that pop-up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a really tough thing to do to play a doubleheader, especially with a short break, 20, 25 minutes in between games, and you're going right back out there, especially after a tough loss like they just had, too. You need a lot to turn around your offense, and they ended up getting the 3 runs there in the 4th inning, but haven't been able to do much since, and the defense has just continued to fall apart.
That one is snagged by Salazar. So Isabella Salazar says to her catcher, "Watch this. Anything you can do?" Well, I can do at least just as well. Maybe we won't say better if they don't want to. Certainly you don't want to clash if you're catcher and pitcher, but what a nice snag that time by Isabella Salazar.
Yeah, and it's a tale of two cities. I mean, Ottumwa's defense has been their Achilles heel so far this game.
That one chopped up, and just like that, Washington is out of the 6th inning as the leadoff hitter Mason flies out, and we will go right to the bottom of the 6th, folks. Washington up 4-3 here on the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
Breaking news.
Are you looking for a sports show with intensity?
And we'll see you in court, Mark Cuban, you broke bum.
Are you looking for a sports show with passion?
Moment of silence for the name Wells Fargo Arena.
And are you looking for a sports show with whatever this is?
And today we are counting down Justin Bieber's top 10 girlfriends. That's right.
Make sure to check out Andy and Hunter every Thursday on Prep Sports Plus, breaking down all the high school sports from across the Southeast Iowa region, talking about all your favorite schools such as Washington, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, Pekin, and so much more. Make sure to check out Prep Sports Plus every Thursday at noon on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
At Washington Lumber and Home Center, our extensive knowledge, great pricing, and a long list of local installation experts, you are guaranteed to get the service you deserve with the quality you should expect. Washington Lumber and Home Center, your local place for great results.
Well, if you're seeing deja vu with Addie Thompson back in the circle for Washington, or for Ottumwa, excuse me. No, you're not. It was just that quick of a top of the 6th inning. A quick 1, 2, 3 flyouts, a couple of nice plays by pitcher and catcher in Anderson and Salazar for the Demons. Helped push this to the bottom of the 6th. As we've got Washington back up to bat here and a chance to add to a 4-3 lead. Ottumwa once again in a situation down 1 with 3 outs left.
Yeah.
And the top of the order up here for Washington as well with Leighton Salazar up to bat.
Yeah, this is the top of the order that can really do damage, and it's why it was so important that the bottom of the order got 2 runs across.
Salazar chops that into left field, and as you said, Joel, another good start. Leighton Salazar has gotten on base with every single at-bat she's had today. That is her 4th time on base. She's had 3 hits now and a walk, had 3 hits and a walk in game number 1. What more can you really say about Leighton Salazar, a talented shortstop for Washington? It's really impressive stuff from her.
Yeah, and I'm not a big math guy. I'll be the first one to say it, but I'm pretty sure that's an on-base percentage of 1,000, if I'm correct.
You had a .667 earlier. I'll give you more credit than I think you're giving yourself here.
Thank you. I mean, if you were watching Washington basketball, I like to pull out the nice, easy percentages.
Demons looking for a second win over Ottumwa as it stands. The Bulldogs are down to their last 3 outs, and this is just an opportunity to add some insurance if you're Washington, and you've got the best players you want up to do that. Ella Greiner back up. Singled in the 1st, walked in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, insurance here will be huge. We've seen Ottumwa's capability to pile on runs.
Greiner crushes that to left. It's back, and it's hooking foul and not able to be caught. Over there was Pauls for Ottumwa, and that one looked like it could potentially clear the wall. Thought it might have, even though it did hook foul, but did stay in play, bounced off the wall, but a foul nonetheless, and a long strike for Griner there, excuse me.
Yeah, if it doesn't have that draw to it and she straightens it out, I think that clears the fence. But a very loud foul ball, 0-2 again.
That one up and away. We'll go to 1 and 2 here to Ella Griner, who herself has had a nice day. She grounded out and flew out in her first 2 at-bats in game number 1, but got an RBI single, hit a sacrifice bunt in the 7th. Griner lines that one into left. And the same spot where her teammate Salazar hit it. Griner singles, and 2 are aboard now, and it feels very dangerous if you're the Bulldogs. With Colby Griner up, has not reached base in game number 2, but of course had that vital sacrifice bunt that turned in the winning run.
And with Thompson not throwing her best pitches too, it is, I think, a big factor that Washington saw her last game. They know she's fresh in their mind.
Griner bunted that one. Someone almost had the angle to make it in our press box. If the window had been open, that almost trickled in the bottom of it. Would have been some trick shot.
Yeah, that would have been insane.
You can see the tall fence there above home plate. It would have been wild to hook that much off the bunt, but strike 1. Griner. That one's high, and runners are going to be able to advance. And once again, Thompson not helping her striker Weeks here. Some of those high pitches. We go back to that inning that has Washington in front, the bottom of the 5th. It was mistakes that gave Washington those runs. Thompson can't let that continue here. It will be really difficult for Ottumwa to get back in and tie the game like they did last game. Swung on and missed, but again it gets past Weeks, and the run will score. And so Washington does add at least 1 insurance run here. Still a strike. The runner will score, and it's 5-3 Demons. Another wild pitch, another run for Washington.
Yeah, so we saw a couple wild pitches earlier that were on Thompson, and she needed to put it in closer, but that one hitting off the glove of Weeks, that'll be a pass ball, which will be another unearned run. I mean, that's the 4th unearned run of the day that the Demons have gotten, and it just shows how they've capitalized on just every single mistake, like literally every single mistake that the Bulldogs have had.
Foul tip. That was a good pitch there that time by Thompson. Just got it down and away, but Griner managing to foul tip it. Runner on 3rd. 5-3 Demons. The 1-2 to Colby Griner. Foul back. Griner certainly a big game for her individual development. The sophomore. One for the future, undoubtedly, and for the present for this Demon softball team. 1-2 again is lofted. Making good contact on it is Griner.
Yeah, she is, and you know, she had that phenomenal start and complete game in the game 1, and now she's doing it at the plate. She was a hero game 1, like you said, but I mean, she's just kept on delivering great at bat after great at bat. It hasn't shown up in this game's box score, 0 for 3, but you got to figure it's coming. She had a nice fly out to right field in the first inning that really, I mean, it was well hit, well struck, just went straight to a fielder.
That one outside, and once again, Weeks had to spring up quickly to catch that. Could have been another wild pitch that scored a 6th run for Washington, and I believe what would have been a 4th off of an error by either pitcher or catcher. The 2-2 to Griner. Swing and a miss, and a nice strikeout there for Thompson. But only the first out here in the bottom of the 6th.
A huge strikeout. Regardless, she really needs a pop-up here or a strikeout as well to keep Washington at 5. Anything hit on the ground or hit into the outfield is scoring that run. even if it's a fly out, I mean, the run's going to be able to tag up. You know, Ella Griner, she's got some speed. She showed it on the pass balls. Let's see what Anderson can do here.
Olivia Anderson saw her make that nice catch out behind home plate in the top of the sixth. Has 2 singles in her last 2 at-bats. Flew out in the first inning. Let's put some contact on it, including against Thompson. Anderson takes that inside. The 1-1. Swung on and clipped toward right and able to get under it. That time was Mason. The runner will tag, throw, not in time. So Anderson takes care of business, scores the 6th run for Washington, and they are now doubling up the Bulldogs here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. All they needed was a pop out or a strikeout, even something in foul territory that's going to score the run there. And, you know, you could go back and think about it. Oh, maybe she should let it drop. But, I mean, I think you got to take the out and just get out of this inning as quickly as possible. That run was basically inevitable at that point, especially with the way that Anderson had been hitting. She's done a great job putting it in play.
Yeah, a bit of a rock and a hard place situation. It seemed like as that one's popped up, and that will end the inning. But Washington adds 2 more insurance runs, and Ottumwa is down to their last 3 outs. We'll get to those in the top of the 7th here in the Southeast Iowa Video Network.
Here at the Morning Breath, we start every morning with style and grace.
Give me a
Engaging you with thoughtful and critically thinking topics to start your day.
Did you know that Pop-Tarts are like horrible for you?
While always maintaining a professional and family-friendly environment.
John, you're no longer a virgin.
Oh, and all the other stuff.
Wow, version. Yes. We talk on all over the world.
There's another word for that, Peter. What do we call that?
Cold. It is cold. It's going to get
Weekdays at 7:15, only on the Southeast Iowa Video Network Facebook and YouTube page.
My name is Levi Lyle. I have lived in Kielder my entire life, but I've been an organic farmer for about a decade. Truly, the reason to do business locally is because of the joy and fulfillment that comes in relationships. Coming to Professional Proteins is an opportunity to work with good people.
At Wolf Floral, you'll find everything you need to spruce up your summer. Located on the southeast corner of the Washington Square, we've got you covered from small gift items to the finest floral arrangements around. Wolf Floral, unique by choice, not by chance.
Washington softball is 3 outs away from a sweep over the Ottumwa Bulldogs. Up 6-3 here at the top of the 7th. It is the shortstop, Kaysen Thompson, leading off. She has not reached base yet tonight, but if there's a time to do it, it's right now. Still in the circle is Isabella Salazar. She's had an excellent game. Has dug herself out of a 3-run 4th. 2 scoreless innings, including a real 3-up, 3-down 6th. And Washington will look to recreate that here. Beat Ottumwa in the first game of this doubleheader, 3-2. They're looking to close it out here. It's a 1-1 count now to Thompson.
Yeah, and really the story of this game for this Ottumwa offense is, you know, the 5 through 9 in the leadoff.
As Thompson leads off that time and gets on base. So a good start for a hopeful comeback effort for the Bulldogs.
Well, what I was going to say before the single was the 2 through 4 have had a tough time reaching base. But, I mean, that could be a big sign for Ottumwa if they can get that their number 2 hole onto first base with a single and bring up Weeks and Mandibles. I mean, they're both talented batters. They just haven't had pitches that they could really hit yet this game, and they just need to shorten the bat and put a swing on something, even if it's not their pitch.
Weeks has flown out, struck out in the 4th. That was her last at-bat. Just before that rally, drives that one into center. Over for it is Griner and as well, and it drops down. Cuddebeck was ultimately closer and tried to make the catch, but couldn't reel it in. So 2 aboard now for the visiting Bulldogs. So just like that, as Joel pointed out, both those batters struggling today have set up Ottumwa well to try and tie this game here at the top of the 7th. First pitch to Sophia Mendibles, the first baseman. She is the only one who's had some success getting on base. She had a single in the 5th, so has gotten a hit off of Salazar tonight. Can potentially load the bases, maybe even drive in a run if she can put it in the right part of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, Washington has taken advantage of every Bulldog mistake.
That one's rolled to short. Lead runner out at third. Salazar just going for the lead runner, so Mendibles will take her base at third, but Salazar not panicking there with a couple of options. Fielder's choice and opted to make the play to the lead runner. Agree with that decision there for Salazar?
Yeah, that's a great decision, especially when it's as easy as that. I mean, she knew it was an automatic out as long as she got it there, and she made the decision before the ball was hit. If it comes to me, I'm going to third, and that's how you do it. That's the right way to make that decision. You can't be still deciding on where to throw it when the ball's in your hand. It's got to be made prior to the pitch.
So 1 away, but 3 straight hits to start this inning for Ottumwa, and the Lexi Ferguson, who started that rally, rolls it to second. There's one second play. Double play can't be made, but again, 1 runner out, and Ottumwa's down to their last out.
Another great decision, I think, in the field. You get the runner out at second. You know, the throw over to third would have been a little too risky, I think, and you got to keep another runner out of scoring position there, and that's exactly what happens. And also, just the awareness to hold on to it from Salazar, I really like it, because if you force that throw over to first, I mean, that's an error that could happen, because, I mean, turning double plays in softball is extremely tough with the 60-foot base paths. You know, baseball, you get a little more time with the 90-foot run to first base, but, you know, softball's tough, and a good job holding on to it and not forcing an unforced error.
Some good plays there by Leighton Salazar and Reagan Miller, who was playing second, who had that fielder's choice there. So down to their last out now. Cammie pulls, drives that. This will be a tough play, but Leighton Salazar makes it. And Washington gets out of the inning and escapes with 2 wins over Ottumwa. Will take them down 6-3 and 7 in the second game of the doubleheader. And what a good performance it was by the Demons. We'll send it to a quick break, come back with a post-game recap and a post-series recap as Washington defeats Ottumwa 6-3.
Check out Community Profiles every Thursday, where our host, Greta Clemens, talks with people from around Washington about their stories and highlighting upcoming events. Make sure to tune in to Community Profiles every Thursday at 10 on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
At Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction, we provide everything from design to complete installation of your kitchen cabinets. For small town service with competitive prices, Southeast Iowa Cabinets and Strabela Construction are here for you.
There are places where all roads lead to families providing for their loved ones and their community. That's where you'll find us. Generation after generation, Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Your adventure starts here. Caparotto Group Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram will get you ready in style. Meet with our friendly and experienced team to find a vehicle that gets you on the road, and rely on our service shop to keep you there. Caparotto Group. See yourself the Capper experience.
At First Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you with the flexible financing you need to install that all-season room or remodel your kitchen with a home equity line of credit. Connect with First today and see why together is better.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Summer is here, and Fairway's got you covered all baseball and softball season long. With a large variety and low prices, Fairway is the easy home run choice for all your grocery needs. Make Fairway your home field advantage.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
Breaking news.
Are you looking for a sports show with intensity?
And we'll see you in court, Mark Cuban, you broke bum.
Are you looking for a sports show with passion?
Moment of silence for the name Wells Fargo Arena.
And are you looking for a sports show with whatever this is?
And today we are counting down Justin Bieber's top 10 girlfriends. That's right.
Make sure to check out Andy and Hunter every Thursday on Prep Sports Plus, breaking down all the high school sports from across the Southeast Iowa region, talking about all your favorite schools such as Washington, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, Pekin, and so much more. Make sure to check out Prep Sports Plus every Thursday at noon on the Southeast Iowa Live Facebook and YouTube page.
Welcome back to Washington Softball Stadium, where the final in game number 2, the Washington Demons taking down the Ottumwa Bulldogs 6-3. This is the Community First Credit Union post-game shows. Welcome you into a more illuminated broadcast booth. Jack Knowlton and Joel Keller joining you. It was an exciting 2 games. Washington, of course, winning in a walk-off in emphatic fashion to steal that game at 3-2, and then jumped out to a lead in a similar fashion by scoring 1 run in the top of the first that started with a leadoff double by Leighton Salazar. They were able to recover from a nervy top of the 4th inning in which they gave up 3 runs. They stuck with Isabella Salazar in the circle. She went the distance, as did Colby Griner in the first game. But to recap the second, Joel, what went well for you for Washington? Offense really seemed like they were clicking more. I go back to your comment in between games where you talked about stringing some momentum together and really capitalizing off of those early hits and some of that early momentum that they were able to capture. I felt like Washington did that a little bit more in the second. That ultimately helped them, of course, in the bottom of the 6th as well, pull away when they were up 4-3, add those 2 insurance runs.
Yeah, and they kept putting the ball in play, which was huge because this Ottumwa defense, whether it be fatigue or other outside reasons, they really just kept making errors. I mean, you see 6 total errors in the game and 4 in the last 2 innings, and that really helped Washington come back down 3-2 heading into that 5th inning. I mean, they had a big one there, and I was all powered by a couple of walks and then just getting on base through errors and being aggressive on the base pass, where they were taking each base on the pass balls, and sometimes you kind of play it safe because you don't want to get the out, but they're in a position where they needed to be aggressive, and they did that really well. But the big thing was they weren't striking out; they were putting the ball in play, and that's really what helped them capitalize on the 6 errors and their 7 hits.
Well, and you mentioned the errors as well. 2 runs on no hits in that 5th inning for Washington, and that was really ended up being the difference in the game. It was, a nervy start, and you mentioned as well in the pregame the difference in pitching. You had so much returning pitching for Washington. You stick a freshman out there in game number 2 in Francis if you're Ottumwa, and she kind of had a shaky performance. You go back to your ace and Thompson, who guided you through that first game for the most part, but her miscommunications a couple of times with the catcher, Weeks, behind the plate ultimately cost the Bulldogs a chance to even the series, a 2-game series as it were. But those mental errors are something they're going to have to shake, and it's something Washington, I felt, really didn't have to deal with. I thought they were really composed. You had a couple fielders' choices there at the end when they were giving up a few hits as Ottumwa tried to get back into the game, but I felt like they had the right composure there in the field as well to see this game out.
Yeah, and it's not just the fielder's choice. I mean, you go back to the 6th inning, they just took the lead in the bottom of the 5th, and we head to the top of the 6th, and it's a 1-2-3 inning because of a great play by Anderson back there behind the plate, and then Salazar caught a line drive, which probably would have gone for, I would say probably like 99% of the time they score for a base hit. She's able to put a glove on it, not only stop it, but catch the ball, and that really helped her out. And, even the hit into left field, that was a strike. I mean, that was a hard hit ball that was caught out there by Cuddyback, and that's exactly what you need to do if you're Washington, is find a way to get those outs, and that's what they did. And then, the fielder's choice there in the 7th inning was just perfect softball. You're getting the leading runner out for the first out, and then you're getting a runner in scoring position out on another fielder's choice, and then it's, you can throw it the first, second, or throw the out at home if that's there, and it really opened up the options there for the last out, which made it a lot easier on this defense, and I think a lot easier on Salazar to close it out, knowing that the defense was being smart behind her.
We gave the MVP award from game number 1 to Colby Griner. I'll nominate Leighton Salazar, but I'll let you have the final say. If you have an MVP pick for game number 2, who are you giving that award to?
Oh, can we just do the Salazars together?
The Salazars, plural. I can get behind that. Absolutely.
Bella did a great job bouncing back. She had the tough 3-run inning that she allowed, and it was 6 straight hits, so she really did a good job limiting the damage. It could have been a lot more than that, but then she comes back and bounces back for the final 4 innings, and it's just locked down. Not a lot was happening for Ottumwa around the bases, and I think that was the most impressive part about Salazar's start, even with how strongly she started out. But yeah, you're right, Leighton Salazar, I mean, as a 2-game series, she was just phenomenal, never getting out. That's exactly what you wish for from your leadoff batter, just to set the plate for both the Greeners and Anderson to really just tee off and bring her around home.
Your final in game number 2, Washington defeats Ottumwa 6-3, knocked them off 3-2 in the first game. Washington improving to 4-1 quickly in an early start to this season. The Demons living up to their number 10 preseason ranking so far. We will have our next broadcast over on the Baseball Diamond, a doubleheader for Washington. They will face Burlington on Monday. So tap into the Southeast Iowa Video Network for that. But we will sign off here from Washington Softball Stadium. Once again, your final in game number 2. Washington defeats Ottumwa 6-3. For Joel Keller, I'm Jack Knowlton. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.